Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about my 3 trades that I took this week, 2 on gold and 1 on US 30, and how I was able to make about 5% this week. Alright, so let's get started. Let's break down this gold chart over here. So we've been on gold for the whole month, or for a little bit over a month now. Been analyzing and going with the flow on gold. I took a couple decent trades. I think my best trade and worst trade of this year were on gold. So I'm going to show you guys, this was my buy entry right over here. I'm going to break it down, everything to you guys, right? So throughout this whole move, we were going bullish, okay? Which means you're making higher highs and higher lows all the way from this bottom over here, okay? So I have a couple areas marked up. So I have this area over here of a low, and then this area over here as low of a low as well, with these 2 red lines, right? So we were trading around this area this week, right? Yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we just shot up. So I have this trend line basically from this one bottom touch over here to a second touch to a third touch. Okay, so what I started to notice was price was basically respecting this trend line. There's 2 options we can do from here. Either we continue to respect and go up, which is what we did, or we break below, make the retest, and then come down, because I was projecting to come down to all the way over here on this previous low. All right, so my whole process of entering this buy over here was on the 1 hour time frame. If I look closely on the 1 hour time frame, I see basically a support level on my left, which is this support level over here. I have basically all the way over here from the left, I have support, 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 and then we broke this area of support, boom, and then make the first trend line touch. Okay, so right now I'm not going for longs, I'm not going for buys, I'm just watching the market, see how this reacts, because I have this area broken. One of the projections would have been to basically come back, touch this area of retest, and then reject again, which is what we did right over here. Okay, so I have to follow the market. I know that the trend is going bullish, so I know the market overall is shifting to the upside. So I'm looking to enter trade of a buy and not sell. Okay, so I was on right over here Tuesday. So Tuesday, basically at night, looking at the chart, and then I see that the trend line was respecting. So we are making touches on the trend line. We have a third touch over here from this bottom one, and then we had just basically created one big wick right over here, right? So this big wick means that price pulled down, collected some orders, or price just came down and then basically started to move up again. So buyers were starting to get control of the market. So I have trend line basically making new higher lows. So there's 2 confirmations there for me to enter for a buy. I have a bullish doji candle over here, and then on the 4 hour as well, we were trading above the moving average. Okay, so this blue line, if you guys haven't watched any of my videos, I follow this blue line. If we're trading above the moving average, means we're going bullish. If we're trading below the moving average, like we were over here, we are going bearish. Okay, so on the 4 hour, we were above this moving average. And so that to me is already enough confirmations for me to enter for a trade. The only thing and the most important thing that's left is the risk management. So I calculate how much I can lose and how much I'm going to make. All right. So here was a decent, not too big and not too small of a stop loss based on my entry. But it was enough. I had enough room for the price to basically play around over here and then hit my take profit. Okay, So it wasn't a huge trade. I think it was a 1-to-1, 1 to 1.2 risk to reward. But overall, I had, a good trade. I think it was about, I would say close to 3 to 4%. I'm looking right here on my phone. Close to 3%, 3 to 4% on this trade. So pretty good trade, nothing bad. My thoughts for the take profit was right on this area over here of a support on the left, which we have also a rejection over here. So I was just calculating that if we had a touch on the 3340, would have been my first place for the stop loss. The next place for the stop loss, so I'll just mark it over here. So this would have been first. Change it to green. And then second place would have been the basically the breaking point above this previous high over here. Okay, that was my second place for my take profit. So we didn't end up touching, we just rejected from the same area. So we rejected from the same area around 33.50 and then came down and then would have hit my stop loss. But I put already my take profit order there, so it just triggered my take profit and then I was good to go. I was already in profit. Okay, price reversed and then came back to the same area of the trend line. Again, one more time, I think this was the 5th time coming to the trend line. So I was, happy. I wasn't looking to enter the market again. I'm not chasing the moves. I'm letting the moves happen. So we come here, we basically create another higher low, and then we make a new higher high right over here on the left. And then now this would have been the best opportunity for you to enter for a buy, okay? Right over here. So let me show you guys how this works. So we're making higher highs and higher lows, right? And then we break above these two highs over here, okay? So the goal is always to break new highs, to break the previous highs and form new highs. So we form new highs over here. If we look left, the same rejection area from the left, which is already a good point for you to start looking for a reversal or for a short-term short trade, or something that you're going to look for to make like the pullback. So we made a pullback right over here. Now if you follow the market, you're going to see that this pullback right over here comes back to the same area of previous highs and previous lows right over here. So this would have been the best opportunity for you to enter longs on the market, all right, on gold. So after we make this low, you're going to think, okay, so now we have to break these highs or see what the market does. So again, we break these highs one more time, right? So broke these highs on the left, broke this previous high over here, and then formed new highs. Now again, it just basically does the same thing. So if we make new highs, we got to make now a higher low for you to go long again and then make new highs again. So I'm just going to copy and paste this to see that it's basically the same thing. So we have the highs, the lows, and then the new highs right over here. Okay, so it's basically market structure, very, very simple. So I took another trade, was yesterday, just don't remember what time. Entry was 33.90, 1.6. This was my second trade with a stop loss right underneath here. So this is a big stop loss. My take profit, I exited around 34.10, 12. And then stops was there. Okay, so this is a 1 to 1.6 risk to reward. Now again, this is a big stop loss for me. So 11, close to 12 points of stop loss is a very big stop loss for me. Okay, I usually, anything above 5, I already start to feel like this is too much. Okay, so 11 is fairly big, but for the size of the trade was pretty good. Okay, I was willing to risk basically close to 5 to 6% on this trade to make back 1.6, make back a little bit more than that. All right. So just again, same thing, same move that happened here. I just copy and pasted. We formed new highs. I saw a low forming. I have basically trading above this area over here of resistance. Looked like formed the support. We were above the moving average, so I decided to enter for a trade. And basically my stop loss, my take profit, I calculated my take profit above this area right here on the left. All right. So if I put this, so anything above this area right here on the left, which are previous highs, I would have been good, would have been okay, basically to hit my take profit. Now, from what I remember, I put an alert. So I had an alert right above this area. So once I was making dinner, I received the alert on my phone. I decided to close the position. I entered the market, decided to close the position right away, and then I was done for the night. This was yesterday night. Yes. So market now is just formed new highs, came back, made new higher lows, and now we're probably gonna make new higher highs as well. Now, from what you guys know of my last videos, this is to me a sell zone, I think, on the daily time frame, right? So this daily time frame, there's a huge wick over here of gold all-time highs, and then we have basically rejection zone from this area. Okay, so this is a rejection zone. Probably we're gonna reject here as well, or we're gonna make new highs. But this whole move right here is just from news, right? So yesterday there was like war news or some type of fundamental news that happened, and gold just shot up and the whole market crashed. Okay, so if you look at US 30, this was my second trade, and I'll just explain it now, but this was a whole move happening like this one over here on gold. Okay, so these were my two trades for gold this week. One buy over here and then another buy over here, and it's very, very simple, guys. Just follow the market, follow the structure, and the money is gonna come. Okay, so let me explain to you guys my US 30 trade. Okay, this was very confusing to me. So I was looking at this, and basically if we look left, there's this area of rejection over here as well, some rejection over here, and some other rejections over here as well. If we broke above here and then formed a support. Okay, just following the charts, just following the market structure. So I just explained to you guys about the moving average and that candlesticks, and I use confirmations to take the trade. I don't just guess or I don't gamble. All right. So on the 4 hour here, I was looking at this moving average coming above. Price action was right here. I saw this zone, right, of resistance over here, resistance over here, resistance. Probably if we look left and we extend this, you're going to see that this is again an area of reversal. And then I saw we breaking below this area. So we have a bearish candle over here, basically a doji, but it has a bigger body. And we engulfed all these candles on the left, and we were trading below the moving average. So on the 4 hour, I looked at it and I said, wow, this is probably a good opportunity for me to enter a sell. So there's the moving average again coming here. We have a retest on the trend line, a huge bearish candle over here, and we have 2 candles coming, closing below this area of what it looks like to me was support, right? Support, because we have reversals from here, reverse. So what I was thinking was we break below, probably do a little retest, and then drop all the way down to, if we look left, this area right here on the left. So I enter for a short position right over here, and then was in profit for a little bit, and I decided to wait. Of course, I'm not going to close with a small profit. I'm letting the trade run, and I had a huge stop loss on US 30. Now, I was willing to risk 4% on this trade and wasn't thinking that my stop loss was going to get hit. So there's two rules that I go by. Is you must have risk management and you must have a stop loss. Calculated my risk, and so I'll just place my stop loss right over here. Now, it doesn't make sense where I place the stop loss. It would make sense for me to place a stop loss right above here, right above this low, this high candle over here, the highest point on this candle, because it's where it's probably not going to get touched. Or second place would have been right over here, right above this high of the candle. But I'm not going to have a 200-point stop loss. So I'd rather put right above here, which is this area of basically support and resistance, support. And if it gets touched, it gets touched, but I'm willing to manage my risk, okay? So I don't know what happened. Market just, boom, shot up. Basically took me out right over here. I had two entries, but one setup, two entries. So I took basically, like one lot and then another lot on US 30. Price just moved up and basically formed a new, looks like a new lower high. So from this lower high, you would think that next move is to break these lows again and then form new lows, which is exactly what it did. All right, wasn't like the end of the world for me. I had 2 wins, 1 loss this week, and this was basically my 3 trades, and that is the breakdown for the trades. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to know more about how I trade and my strategy that I use, comment down below and like the video for more videos like this. All right, catch you guys on the next one.